Welcome to Sad Boys, a podcast about feelings and other things also. I'm Farty McFarpants, Jarvis.
I'm Jordan.
Okay, well that's stupid.
No, you're weird. I'm cool.
We said before the show we'd make up cool names. Oh, okay. You're still in the holiday spirit. Now you're in the holiday dispirit.
Because it's over.
Oh, wait. So, okay. This episode's coming out when?
This episode is coming out December 27th.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, in that case,
No, that makes everything makes sense.
I'll do a New Year's song. 10, 9.
Okay, now are you singing the New Year's countdown?
Well, I'll make it really long so that it isn't finished until like 4 days from now or whatever.
It's like with that thing. It's like if you play Frank Ocean's Nights at this time, then at midnight the beat switch will happen. If you play this episode of Sad Boys on New Year's Eve,
Slow it down.
right at this beginning, you slow down the countdown, and here we go. 10.
Actually, yeah. If you start an episode of Sad Boys, the amount of time before it hits midnight,
9,
relative to the length of the episode.
8.
We'll slow down. It's about 5 days.
7.
Wait. You know what used to bother me as a boy?
What?
I was a bothersome boy.
6.
And I'm like, it would really annoy me when people would do like 3, 2, 2.5.
Oh yeah.
2 3/4.
Yeah. Even just doing that, I'm like, fucking count,
Get
dude.
moving.
5.
You're annoying me.
Yeah, like
I'm
gonna smack you, dude, if you don't fucking finish that.
I'm 9 years old and I'm scared of everything, but I will fight you.
I never experienced this, but theoretically, someone could just keep having the number if they knew it,
And then
and then it would never end.
what's
The
the name for
halting problem, I think that's called.
Oh, yes.
Wait, can we search the halting problem?
It's definitely right.
4.
Oh, right.
Yeah. What's the name of that?
Oh, that's
problem?
what Gojo
in
uses.
Jujutsu Kaisen, yeah. That's what I was doing this.
The infinity.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can't be touched.
It's not the having problem. Zeno's paradox. Okay, sure. I also remember there being something about a door, like approaching a door, but
Infinitely smaller.
maybe try halfway to a door problem.
Infinite halfway.
Oh, it is just Zeno's paradox. Okay.
Oh. It's Jujutsu Kaisen. That's what it should be called.
It's very kind of Zeno to or as I call him, Zeno.
Of Zoro.
To set Gojo up so beautifully.
Yeah, I didn't know he was a mangaka. I have an idea. Or actually, I have a dilemma, something of a paradox.
You've got a dilemma like Kelly Rowland in 2003 or one of those years?
Also, like my volleyball coach, Herb Dilemma.
There's absolutely no way.
I swear to God, that was a real name.
There's absolutely no universe where your volleyball coach's name was.
I swear to God.
Did you
my
always
name?
go? Did anyone always go like? Did he ever get disciplined by the school board and they're like, we have to talk about the Herb dilemma?
He was a great volleyball coach. Definitely got frustrated with me because I did make fun of him quite a bit.
Did you always? Do you go, whoa? I guess we've got a Herb dilemma, don't we? Did you ever say that?
I mean, look, I was 12, 13. It wasn't that witty, but
I think you.
I
give
probably
yourself
said some
credit.
jokes.
You said you're dumb and old,
I'll kill you, man.
and I hate you.
Your name sucks, I bet.
He was also quite short for a man who played volleyball.
That's what you said
Leave him
when you were
alone.
12. Actually, you're quite short for a man who played volleyball.
I was
Quite the
taller
dilemma.
than him at 12.
That's wild. Well, you are 9 feet tall.
Wait.
That's why you don't appear on camera, because you couldn't possibly. We don't have a lens wide enough.
I would just go out of frame.
Yeah. It'd be like when adults are in like it'd be like
Peanuts
or in Powerpuff Girls, like Cerebellum.
or like what was the guy in Proud Family that you never see his face because he's so tall?
Yeah.
too
It
proud.
was like a running joke.
Yeah.
I ain't never seen it, mate.
I know what you're talking. Could you Google tall guy Proud Family? Also, Jordan, you had something that I think
Tall
we
guy, proud
interrupted.
family feet.
No, no.
Look up low pony.
Oh yeah. Wizard Kelly.
Love it.
That's a less ridiculous name than Mr. Dilemma. This fucking Batman villain. He taught you volleyball.
While we're at it, this episode is sponsored by ADHD. While we're at it, could we Google Kelly Rowland's Dilemma year of release?
Oh, it has Nelly.
2002. I said 2001 or 2003, and it was 2002.
Right in
Gosh
the middle.
darn,
I guess it.
is what I say to that.
All the data was there. You know what I mean?
It was a regular Zeno's paradox. It was halfway in between.
It was a regular Herb's dilemma.
Wait, look up Herb's Dilemma. Because there's a chance. There's a
gotta
tiny
be.
chance.
It is a philosopher from Wisconsin.
Herb Dilemma solved.
Hold on. Greatest sentence I've ever read. Herb's Dilemma joined the Gibbleguts cartoon group. What could that possibly mean?
Okay, well, on the topic of lying, which I'm just learning about. I'm just heard about this whole thing that I
That
personally
sounds like we're starting with a lie, but okay.
don't. We're in trouble. Anyway, by the way, every episode, somebody's first episode, and I just want to make it clear, it's a running joke that everybody else in the podcast loves to lie for like comedic effect or just for
That's
fun.
not true.
Or comedic effect intends that it's even for other people.
That's not true. I guess
Damn
if
it.
it is someone's first episode, I want to say that my name is not actually Farty McFartface.
No.
It is just Jarvis, but I understand the
Oh.
confusion.
So what was it when you did say that? What was that?
That was a humorous joke
I'm scratching
in
my
which
chin.
I am now revealing the truth. Whereas your lies, you never reveal the truth.
That's the joke.
That's not a joke. That is just lying.
It's a devilish gambit.
Like if you get a fake ID, it's not a devilish gambit with the bar to get them to let you in.
Your Honor, it was merely a jape. You see,
It was merely a what?
a jape,
What's that?
a chucklesome jape.
Anastasia was
J-A-P-E.
surprised I'd never heard that.
Is it a word?
It's a
is?
word,
Oh,
yes.
thank goodness.
It like jungle japes from the map from Donkey Kong from Super Smash Bros.
No.
Can you say by the way, this sounds like it's a slur, which is the reason.
It sounds really bad.
Yeah, it is.
In fact, if you remove,
I know. Yeah, if you're,
In fact,
it is very, very
if you
close.
remove the last or the first,
Yeah.
it can be a slur.
It's like the 2002 of two slurs. It's right between two slurs. Can we Google jungle japes? Yeah, it says Donkey Kong 64.
Phew. That was a close one.
I believe you were beginning to talk about how you're a big liar.
No. I have come up with an idea of something I could lie about, and I want to see if
You should.
I want to present the issue. I want to pose an ethical question
Okay.
to the group. So,
You put okay.
it's Christmas, right? Or I'm sad because Christmas just finished. It's post Boxing Day. I have a son. I have a beautiful boy. Okay, this is
Okay, that's the
What's
lie.
this is theoretical. His name?
Yeah.
Herb.
Okay,
Herb.
that all tracks.
Herb, Jarvis, Goku, Vegeta, Naruto.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Adika, Wick.
Dilemma.
Adika.
Herb Dilemma for short.
So yeah, he's born 1970. I raise a beautiful boy. I'm raising my wonderful son. Raising him, of course, to be an epic atheist online. Raising him to watch only my videos.
Epic Atheist Online is a MMO I used to
Yeah.
play.
Oh yeah, you fuck with that. Now I'm embarrassed to admit it. You find out one day that I have been lying. I've been adding a little extra flavor on top of the Santa myth to my kid. Right? Yeah, my kid's like doing karate or something.
Yeah.
And you say, what do you hope to get from Santa this year? And my kid says, who? I say, Santa Claus, like Santa Claus. And then they said, like, oh, you mean Rick? You show him a photo, and after he's like, oh, that's Rick. I've been lying to my son and telling him Santa Claus's name is Rick Claus,
Mhm.
right? Is that, and here's the question, amoral? Is that unethical in any way?
Hmm.
No,
Edit this down and
weird.
reduce the rambling.
I think it might be.
Jacob said, no, it's just weird.
I heard something like this, not exactly, on
I heard-
maybe
This is from one of
This
your baby
American
friends?
Life.
I actually heard something like that.
Yeah. It was quite the
Dilemma, I think. Yeah,
that's it.
is
right.
the word
I
would use.
heard about this dilemma.
Yeah, no, go on.
I want to say it was like This American Life or some
I
other.
love you,
Parks and,
Reddit.
Rec, Parks and Rec character name, by the way. Herb Dilemma.
Truly. Or like it would be the Riddler's real name, and
Yeah.
somehow no one figured it out.
Right. It's an anagram for,
I mean, Joker.
for I'm the Joker.
There was a couple who were very into Christmas, and so they decided to make Christmas extra special for their kids. And so they would like hire actors to play elves to like run on the roof and then like run around the woods around their house and stuff. And so
Is that an actor?
the kids like thought that Santa was real way longer than most kids do because they saw actual physical evidence of it.
How long's too long?
That's an important plot point in the Santa Claus, actually. The movie starring Tim
Allen, yeah.
Allen, yeah.
Improving Homes.
In the Santa Claus, which I watched recently as preparation for my segment in Thankmas.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Jacksepticeye. The entire time, his kid is believing in Santa because, first of all, his dad is Santa. Second of all, he's been to the North Pole. He's met all the elves.
And he does exist
like
in
Bernard.
universe.
And he does exist. Scott Calvin,
Of course.
SC, Santa Claus.
Murderer. Killer of real Santa Claus.
Yeah, that's kind of the opening of the movie is that he killed Santa Claus and
takes a life.
his child walks out, witnesses Santa's dead body.
Shotgun pellets embedded in his chest.
His ex-wife has a new boyfriend and he fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And
Classic era of movie, divorce movie.
and he's also a psychiatrist, and the entire time they just like shit on the psychiatry because he sucks, and then he's like a representative for like therapists,
Well-being.
I guess. And just being in therapist mode all the time.
Yes, that's like I feel like certain
Scott.
jobs and roles are the equivalent. If it's anything to do with like emotion or welfare, other than being a surgeon, it's like now if a character in something's like, I only drink soy milk. Oh no, thanks. I'm vegan. It's like somehow trying to like emasculate a character through doing perfectly good and normal things.
There is the episode of Rick and Morty. I started watching Rick and Morty again randomly. There's an episode where Rick's therapist gets brought on to a plot by the president to save the world from, I don't know, one of Rick's exes who's like a hive mind.
Oh, the planet. Yeah.
Yeah. The entire time, they're like, Scott, you're brainwashing our child who shouldn't believe in Santa. And they're being really annoying about it because, like, let the kid have an imagination. Also, he's like the age that it's cool to believe in Santa.
And he's right.
Last but not least.
Why does anyone not believe?
And then, so to the point where they like take him to custody court and they like take custody of the child. After which Scott Kelvin shows up outside of their window. Horrible idea, by the way. You were not getting custody of your child back like that.
With the shotgun he killed Santa with.
The turning point of the movie, when they finally believe he's just like dressed as Santa. And then they're like, oh, I guess, yeah, we believe. And then Bernard walks in Bernard the elf.
The guy from Numbers.
Is that what he's from?
He later did Numbers and I cannot remember his name.
He's like he's one of those people where you look him up and he's like been acting his whole life and went to Juilliard and like all of those things. He was also recently in the fourth Santa Claus movie, The Santa Clauses, released in 2022, where you can see him no longer donning a dread cap and, and wearing just normal curly hair, which I think is a welcome change.
W.
But anyway, he walks in and he's like, hey, like, excuse me. And then they're like, oh, elves. Okay, I guess this is all real. And the reason I went on this long tirade was because of something we were talking about before.
Because the the family would hire actors to play
Yes,
elves.
yes. So
Fucking legend. Hell
So
yeah.
then now they all start believe and they start like weeping and apologizing to Scott and stuff. But I'm like, is that really all it took? Because he could have just hired somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how we know that is because they did to make a movie. They were able to do that actually.
I only ever saw the first Santa Claus, and I saw it like 5 years ago. I had
Right.
never seen it as a kid. And I'm not misremembering that he shoots him with a gun, right?
I think he just slips and falls.
Oh.
I've never seen this.
Can we pull up the?
Why is this part of my brain?
I think you had a dream about shooting Santa.
Oh, that
the
was it.
Santa Claus.
Taking revenge.
Yeah, and then just Wikipedia or something.
Did you call him Father Christmas growing up?
I did.
Yeah, he just startles Santa Claus who falls off the roof and dies.
Die. That's so
Yeah.
crazy. And then he imbues him with a hex, right? Like
I do.
he curses him with
Right,
the-
it's very weird because the Santa Claus claw. Okay, so first of all, the whole thing is a fucking ruse because he goes to the North Poles. He goes to the North Pole, and then Bernard's like, "You agreed to the Santa Claus by putting on the suit," and he's like, "What?" And he's like, "In the fine print on this contract, it like circular like writing, it has this clause," and I'm like. Well, that's fucking not defensible in a court of law. You can't just like put something in invisible ink on a contract and then be like, well, the clause was hidden on the contract.
Also, you should really take this up with every mall across America. There's a bunch of people infringing on the Santa Claus.
I also wonder how many people left comments about how Scott Calvin does not shoot Santa Claus with a shotgun before
Before it got corrected.
like I was just going along with it.
Well, I wonder how many
funny.
people thought I was doing a bit and didn't genuinely remember him getting shot to death.
Yeah, I mean it is funny.
I mean, it is.
It turns
Awesome.
out by putting on the suit, Scott is subject to a legal technicality. Bullshit, by the way.
Wait. When does he put on the suit?
Right
Does he
after
take it off
Santa
his
dies.
corpse?
No. Santa disappears. Oh my god. Okay, so there's a moment. Where Santa disappears and his just his suit is on the ground.
Oh.
There's a point where Santa he slips and he falls.
Okay.
Slowly.
Santa's underwear?
Yeah,
Ew,
that by the way, there's a lot of underwear and side ass from Tim Allen
Ugh.
early on in the movie. Santa then his body just disappears and it's just his clothes on the
Like
ground.
Obi-Wan.
I was gonna say like Cell. I was like, looks like Cell made it to Illinois. But I first asked, I was like chuckling to myself, and I asked Austin if he'd seen Dragon Ball Z, and he said no. And so I was like, damn.
Ugh. Did
He's-
you?
Yeah, and so
Is
like
that
his,
why you left?
No, I
Went back
haven't.
to-
I can't say I've seen that.
so I
No.
kicked him out.
You know?
So yeah,
Fuck yeah.
yeah, his child witnesses Santa Claus' death. The other funny thing is that the CGI, so he does witness the dead
Jesus.
body of Santa Claus.
The frozen core. That is grim.
yeah, this
It's like Fargo.
This is grim. I will also say that
Don't be cutting your kids' hair like
the,
that.
the CG is completely not there, but it was at an era in the 90s where they were like full steam ahead. We're going to have something that's just a background and some CG models, and you're going to be like, damn, that's real as hell. And it is like rendered PS1 graphic, like level at best.
Yeah, when this came out, I was 5 months old. So I think they really weren't ready to be taking swings like this.
They did use puppetry, I think, for or at least like practical effects for the reindeer close-ups because they knew that wouldn't track. But it is very funny knowing that like someone is like pulling the strings because you can start to see like how the reindeer's moving.
I would love, I mean, we can't troll through all the trivia, but this seems like one of those movies where there's going to be a story of like, on the set of Santa Claus.
Like this right here, like this looks great.
Tim Allen.
I think
witnessed,
actually if you back up, there's this is quite literally what I was showing Austin.
Oh, that's Puppet.
Yeah, where it's like the ear like moves just on one axis.
A little animatronic. That's kind of good. That's fun. He's smiling, which is
Yeah.
great. Oh,
And this works.
why didn't Santa do that?
I feel like I think Santa does do that.
Yeah, I think that's.
He was dicking around on the roof. He was
They're
like,
using lots
"Hmm."
of morph effects, which those look fine. It's really just like whenever you see the reindeer. Actually, it's mainly the reindeer.
Well, things in real life that we know don't look a
like
certain
so
way.
here, yes, but then like the shot, if you jump back, like this, it only looks fine because it's kind of dark in this video.
It's-
But in the actual movie, it looks terrible. And then when they start to move, it looks completely.
That's
terrible.
what's blowing his mind. He's
Oh
going
yeah,
like,
here you
"Whoa."
can kind of see it, but
This is a year after the first Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And Jurassic Park still looks pretty good.
yeah,
But it was like the best computer graphics
And a
they
lot.
had.
and they used like a combination of like computer graphics
A
And
lot of
practical
animatronics,
effects.
yeah.
and animatronics and in lower light and in darker environments, it doesn't trigger the like uncanny valley as
Yeah.
much because you don't like with a lot of light, you just see all the places that like light isn't refracting and all those things. And then it's like super just your eye just picks it up so easily.
And it's wowing you with the left hand and stealing with the right because it's like the rain effects are so crazy. It has like reflective scales and everyone's
Yeah.
going like, look at the scale, and then you don't. You know.
when they go to Denny's. So,
course.
but one of the first scenes of the movie is they go to dinner at Denny's because Scott burns the dinner at home. They go to Denny's. They say it's an American institution, and they immediately cut to a bunch of Asian families. Like the editing in the movie is making a visual joke. They're like, "What's more American than this?" And they cut to a bunch of Asian people.
I don't know. Some
I'm like, as if those people aren't American.
I know,
right.
that's
As
so
as
messed
one
up.
of the ultra diehard listeners of this show that like will tag us with, I had 700 years of listen time for Sad Boys this year. Thank you, by the way. That's always very sweet. If any of those people can remember, I hope I mentioned it on the show in the past. And I was never able to find it on TV tropes or anything like that, but someone should add it, is the trope of you thought it was a normal thing, but actually they're Chinese. That is to this day, it is like, oh, we're going to sneak into this person's house. Oh, wait a minute. The opposite of a person.
Right.
What
It's
the
like
hell?
it's not a white family having dinner.
It can be
He's
a
like,
different
"Who's this?"
family. It
Yeah,
has to
just
be
a different family. Like why? Like how in any way is the joke different? But they're like, oh, but this family is Asian, so that's so different.
Jordan's running late to the podcast. Oh, glad I'm here, guys. I turn your career. I'm like, what? That's even crazier than, I don't know, it being a different black guy. That would, because then we wouldn't be sure.
Santa probably recently did a lot of shopping because it was recently Christmas.
Well, Santa famously shops on Facebook Marketplace. Yeah.
You reckon
And-
he's buying stuff? Not, you know.
And we collected some online shopping horror stories from our listeners. Should we look at some?
I fell off a roof.
And now my clothes are gone.
I found a dead man's suit.
Santa Claus just teleported, so he's just nude somewhere.
He like wakes up like Ben Linus, like not knowing where he is.
He's in the desert.
He's in the desert without his clothes.
Santa Claus pushing a big wheel
Yeah,
inside
yeah.
of the North Pole.
I have to go back to the pole.
Bonus episode maybe one day.
We had some people, we had our listeners send in, we did a little call out on our social media, Instagram.com/sadboys, don't search for it, to hear from you about horrible shopping stories because 'tis the season for shopping. We do be shopping. And
Santa do be shopping.
and I also have had my own shopping horror stories.
Yes.
Recently, one of which was me trying to buy, maybe it was magic cards, maybe it was related to not being able to get into the Marvel drop for the secret layer because people were skipping the line with bots.
Maybe it was.
Yeah, maybe they were skipping the line with bots and then bulk buying and completely circumventing a system that's meant for fairness
Right.
because of their own greed.
And you're saying maybe it was this.
Maybe it was that. So
Okay.
maybe I purchased a buy it now for the Marvel bundle
Right.
and I sorted by the lowest cost because I'm economically minded while I'm spending hundreds of dollars on magic cards.
Of course. In theory, again.
In
this is a
theory,
maybe.
again, this is hypothetical. So, and then perhaps hypothetically, just for the sake of the argument, I bought this, I did the buy it now, and then I got a message right after saying, hey, they literally sent me a message that said, hey, I want to say thank you for the order, but unfortunately I have to cancel it because I made a mistake with the listing and I've got to relist it, but it'll still be available so you can buy it again. They relisted it for $100 more
They made a mistake.
because they realized that they misread the market and they were like, I can't make good on this. I can't make good on this sale. Instead, I have to hike the price up because I got to get my extra money. I can't fuck this guy.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Give me that actually.
And so maybe that happened.
But you,
But like
And-
just as like a
leave your
Theoretically.
guesses in the comments. The answer is yes.
This seems like a common thing because
Is-
other people have posted that they're like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't expect for this to sell so low. I got to cancel the Okay, here's one.
Also, am I crazy? Is it like a new Mario game came out or something? Because like Luigi is trending, and I am thrilled to see that.
Yeah.
Whatever that's about,
Mm-hmm.
I am on board.
it says Luigi Mangione, which is Italian for Luigi's Mansion. So I think that
Yeah.
there's just like a new one of those.
Mario. Yeah, he 3D printed that vacuum that catches ghosts.
Oh, it's called like the
Sucky.
CEO Sucker 3000 or something.
Yeah, his blew though. It more like went
Do
out.
we?
It went out.
It has subsonic sucking capability.
Yeah, well, because vacuums are normally so loud.
Yeah. And
What is
suppressor.
the vacuum called from Luigi's
Yeah.
Mansion? It has a funny name.
it's like an acronym, right? That's like a ghost joke.
Yeah. Oh wait. Yeah. It's not the Geist.
Oh.
No.
Poltergust.
Poltergeist.
Oh, yeah.
Poltergust 3000.
Yeah, the first 2,999 didn't catch ghosts. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Oh, we should get one.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's see.
We have a long one to start off.
All right, we have a long one to start things off. Jacob says, "I love reading, and I'm so good at it."
Here we go.
So I'm going to start.
Extremely literate.
I have a story. Longtime listener, regular fan.
Not a special fan.
Not a special fan, just regular old fan. My mom loves Halloween. She prepares year-round, decorated every end so she can make it really fun for the community and the kids, decorates for neighbors, etc. But since she's always doing more, always making it bigger, etc., I'm tasked to be on Facebook Marketplace, just tracking things down for her, be that props, skeletons, mannequins, you name it. Last month, I saw a listing of a man selling 2 male mannequins because he kept hiding them around his house. And his wife said, "You either sell them or get rid of them or I'll be gone."
Jesus.
Imagine mannequins are the biggest problem in your relationship.
That's great.
Get rid of the mannequins, her.
That's also, I mean, also, I love that she basically presented every option, like either or burn them or put them in space or
Or hide them 6 feet underground.
hide them better. I'm sick of wait. I wonder if he was hiding them to scare her or she just hates mannequins, but he wanted to keep it.
Yeah, I wonder why he was holding on to them so strong.
Maybe he was in love with the mannequins.
Oh my God, like the movie Mannequin, it was actually a real person that got magically transformed into a mannequin.
Or like the Disney Channel. No, it wasn't a Disney Channel movie. It was a Disney. It wasn't. It was licensed by Disney. Life Size with Tyra Banks.
Yes, exactly.
Or the Santa Claus 3. Look at this clause.
You
Actually-
want to know how I got these claws?
I killed Santa with a gun.
We should look at the listing and then come back to.
Yeah, let's look at the
Ooh.
list.
Okay.
Whoa! Scary. Luigi?
These
Divorce?
divorce sale looks like these 2 mannequins got divorced.
I can't believe they're breaking up.
Oh my god, they were my favorite couple.
One of them's a little underdressed, I will say.
Well, he lost his clothes in the divorce.
Oh, poor dude. And his penis.
Did I take it? Oh my God,
Oh,
read
yeah.
this description.
Description: did I take it too far when I put Todd and Fabian outside my wife's shower? Dude, it's Halloween.
That's pretty cool.
Okay. So his wife is like, either sell the mannequins and I'm out, and he's like, I'm gonna write a quippy Facebook Marketplace listing.
Don't have fun. Also, $1,500 down from 3,000. All right, not bad.
I thought that this is need. I bring us back to the time that I saw a movie prop from the Power Rangers movie that was the Red Ranger's costume, and it was listed for like $10,000 or something on Facebook Marketplace. And I sent a message saying, "Heh, if it ever comes down in price, let me know. I'm your guy." And he goes, "Fat chance," or he's like, "Not gonna happen." I think is what he said. And I was like, "All right, buddy.
I know what I have.
It's a Power Rangers costume. Have a little levity. It's a."
I won't lower the price, Rangers.
That was Alpha 5. Rangers.
What's up?
Rangers. Todd and Fabian are outside the shower.
Please
I love
get
their
rid
names.
of these.
Yeah, they do fit, by the way.
Fabian's cooler than Todd.
I thought it was funny, but the old lady's heart had enough of my hilarity. So she says, either those creepy bastards go or you go.
Jesus.
After this, I'm now starting to feel like this is a fiction, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
After a few weeks of considering her offer, I concluded that I enjoy her cooking. Okay, buddy.
All right.
More than I like sleeping in my car. Okay, buddy. It's all just
All
like the
right.
Did
greatest
my
hits of.
stepdad write this?
Yeah, it's all the greatest hits of women be shopping.
Yeah.
I'm the old, the old ball and chain.
I decided to like my mannequins more than gone fishing forever.
Yeah,
you know?
it's happy wife, happy life. Todd and Fabian come with a relatively unblemished criminal record.
This guy's fun, dude.
This is my stepdad's sense of humor.
This
And
guy's
all
cracking me
working
up.
parts as
Okay.
one would expect to receive when purchasing a department store dummy.
Hmm.
Full disclosure, Fabian is due in court after the holidays to defend an invasion of privacy charge.
Very good.
It really shouldn't. This is Jesus
This
Christ,
guy
man.
loves having fun.
He's having so much fun. It really shouldn't be a problem though, because he was wearing Todd's arms on the date of the alleged crime. This is so wild.
This is
They are
rough.
having a fucking ball.
Yeah,
dude.
they're having so
I don't even know if they're selling the mannequins
Yeah,
for real.
This guy got a little lost in the fun here. I think maybe half a paragraph is dedicated to the product.
Yeah, where he goes, real talk, I'm willing to part for these at a lower than my expected cost because I do need to get rid of them quickly. My wife is very upset.
But Fabian loves Disney movies.
His lawyer is slick as snot, so don't let that deter you from torturing your friends and neighbors. I've got $5,006.89 invested in these guys. They've been worth every penny. And they can be yours for the low cost of $3,000. By the way, cross that $1,500, please.
Honestly, if the posture weren't so strange and he weren't standing next to a regular mannequin, I would assume that was a real guy.
Yeah. Does look like a
You
real-
hang out with him for a couple weeks before I even kind of.
Hey, Fabian, my
Hey,
man.
what's going on? He never daps me up. He's always tricking me, this guy. Leave me hanging again, huh?
I'll be honest, there were red flags already in the listing, but it was close to where I live now and a good buy. So this is a good price.
Oh.
And my dad built a sinking pirate ship half for my mom this year.
Oh,
They are so in. This is crazy.
that's sick.
But a skeleton on Captain was not reading in the dark. I figured a mannequin would just be more visible. This is so, and they're investing this much money in this?
That's
Respect.
bananas.
What?
And
That's incredible.
Can you imagine if I turned up to your house and I'm like, hey, buddy, I love you, man. I got you this. And it's a 1-to-1 scale, half a pirate ship. And like, you have to install this.
You know what? They do this in Burbank. If you've ever been in Burbank on Halloween, people like hire actors and stuff
they do
to
go
like,
nuts.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they decorate their houses like Rick Baker, who's the makeup artist for like Planet of the Apes and
Oh, yeah.
stuff. His house gets decorated like a movie set, and he like hires people and puts
That's
them
cool.
in makeup
Oh,
and stuff.
like, consensually.
Yes,
I thought you were like, it gets decorated.
It's like
no,
a-
he does it.
On a very special episode of Punked.
trick or
All right.
treat. The trick is destroying your lawn.
I arrange a meetup at a Walmart, and the guy shows up, and he's like, maybe I don't want to sell them. They're really great guys. This guy never
Turn
turns it
off,
off.
dude.
He never turns it off.
Take a break.
And I had seen in the listing he had names for them. Well, Todd and Fabian,
of
obviously.
course.
He had names for them, but I was asking different things like, can I see their height? How old are they? Do you know where they came from? And he wouldn't give full answers unless it was about them as if they were friends.
Oh, come on, mate. Okay, wait. Now I think because the way it was initially presented as like it's a older dude who's married. And then we started seeing like him say silly stuff. I immediately keyed into like, oh, it's like a suburban like white guy. Like I'm
Yeah.
seeing something, but now I'm just for the sake of perspective, much like will happen to him, divorcing myself
Yeah,
from
it
that
sounds like
vision. And I'm
it's-
like, what if this is?
It sounds like he upset a witch and she cursed him to live inside of a dad joke for the rest of his life.
But like, what if there's like some? What if he really believes these things?
It's possible.
Like a two-team bit.
I love my mom and all, but there was some point where I was like, what am I doing as a 25-year-old woman in the back of the parking lot, even entertaining this random older man I don't know, letting him tell me about the crimes and lifestyles his mannequins have lived.
That's actually a very good question, and I would ask the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would get so weirded out by that.
Yeah.
I feel like he would text me for updates. He'd be like, "Hey, how are Todd and Fabian doing?
Yeah.
How'd the court
Getting up
case?
to how'd the court case go? Getting up to any new crimes?
I'm just playing around. Seriously, put them on the phone.
Could be FaceTime."
Show me.
Hey,
show me evidence.
Fabian's lawyer told me he didn't show up for his court date. What are you doing?
Fabian's parole officer is trying to get in contact.
They turn on the TV and it's like local child killer Fabian is apparently.
Hey,
Whoa, what?
So the
And all
wife,
of a sudden he's behind you.
Wait, what are you watching?
so the wife is out of town this weekend. I was thinking maybe you could load up Todd and Fabian in the pickup, and we could go paint the town.
That's funny, man.
Have a little
It's a joke,
boys'
yeah.
night.
Have a little boys' night.
No, we really like
And
literally.
then it's let me tell you about my best friend. There's like, he's on a roller coaster with
They're
like
playing
the two
skee-ball.
mannequins. Yeah,
They're on like a road trip and there's police lights behind them. Pull over.
he's gesturing to him like you haven't eaten any of your salad.
He's doing a beer bong. They're cheering him on.
Yeah,
Dude, a sequence where they're changing outfits, but they can't do it by themselves, so they just keep opening the curtain and it's the same outfit.
it's like he's consulting with Todd while Fabian's just like in a new shirt.
Slightly different.
I do decide, okay, everything here is pointing towards me getting kidnapped. Real. And him driving off with me. I even panicked as far as to assume I may be his next mannequin. They are realistic.
Oh, yeah.
After it's a real Android 17 and 18 situation. After he commented on how beautiful my hair was.
Okay.
Brother, if you are gonna be a jokey dad joke McJoker pants, you
The
gotta
line
stay
is-
whimsical.
Yeah,
You
could
gotta
be-
stay whimsical. You cannot cross into, by the way, you're hot as hell.
This guy's dual wielding creeps.
It's even
Yeah,
bigger
he's
than
got both.
that. How beautiful my hair was, albeit my money price ruining it multiple times, and that he could fix it.
Albeit my money price.
Anyway.
I could. Oh, by the way, in a lot of cases, saying fix
Yeah.
scary, really
Yeah.
quite scary. I could make it so you never have to worry about your hair ever again.
On one condition, you will have to make a joke about everything you say, and it won't be funny.
And it won't land.
It will never land. No relation to Neverland, the
My bad.
Michael Jackson thing. That was
That's
just really a
yuck, you know.
What are the odds?
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, and hey, I'm a weirdo.
Yeah, and I'm sure he did have mannequins there, but this is no relation.
We shouldn't get into this.
We
I
should.
feel
I
like.
honestly, I have a few other clients I have to get to. One of them is missing his parole hearing.
Anyway, what if they robbed a bank or something? Anyway, let's riv it out.
Anyway, this guy's going to kill.
I read ahead a little bit, and this gets crazier.
Okay, it gets crazier. All right.
Fabian killed someone.
But as I'm plotting an escape from the interaction, he goes, "I got to turn my truck on to get them out."
What?
Since they were still laying in the back, buckled in for safety. Jesus Christ. I guess that does make sense.
I guess safety of the other drivers.
Yeah,
on the
like you
road.
don't want to like hit a stoplight real hard and then they go flying through the windshield.
That feels
They
like
torpedo into someone's chest like Goku did Piccolo. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of Dragon Ball references today.
It hits him with a "Leave my daddy alone."
Yeah, hits him with the Gohan Raditz. They're buckling. He gets in his car and just floors it,
Huh?
driving away, flipping me. He's like, "Ha! Never gonna catch me, coppers."
Oh,
Todd and Fabian are mine forever.
Gosh, I hope his wife leaves.
Todd
On a
and
plane.
Fabian are in the back, and you hear a deep voice going, "Yes, all according to our plan."
Their eyes glowing.
Show this child who's boss.
In reality, it's Deborah had spit on them, and they were real people.
Guys,
Guys, I cannot stop.
Jacob?
I've got a lot. There's a lot of.
All right.
Don't worry, everybody.
Okay.
He's a demon from hell, and
Jacob's
he turns people to stone by spitting on them.
Jacob's pretending he doesn't know.
And so there are full people inside of the stone statues, and so I'm like, maybe he just pivoted to mannequins. It's fine.
I think of a stone.
He's
lord.
also being possessed by Blvd, the son of Blvd, this ancient wizard.
Kind of
who's
looks like a little
harnessing-
foreskin.
He does, yeah. He looks like a green foreskin. And he speaks like this.
Oh, like a foreskin.
Majin Buu.
What?
st-
That's actually how I imagine this guy speaking. To
Right.
be fair. The wizard that they met in a parking lot.
I stood there for a second and then decided to move my car and sit. and I didn't know what happened, so I called my mom.
I'm driving 1,000 miles an hour away to sit where he knows you are.
I'm like, I'm worried for everyone this man interacts with.
Fabian.
Todd.
That's it.
I guess his wife also, but mostly Fabian and
I
Todd.
honestly, imagine you live with a guy who's doing all his annoying shit and then also extremely scary, strange shit like this. And you're like, that's it. Please sell the mannequins, as opposed to that's it. I'd get away from me forever.
Why
I'm
wouldn't
afraid.
you run away in the night?
Well, she's trying to come up with reasons to get divorced.
I
You're like,
think she should just.
You
Wait,
should
they
sell the
cut to, like,
mannequins.
They cut to a news at 11. A white Ford truck
Oh no!
is on the highway.
The date appears
He has 2 mannequins in the back seat.
wearing a one
No
glove.
wonder why Fabian is wanted and has a court date coming up. He's got a bad influence like this guy.
Yeah.
He's a symbiote.
Our best thing we can guess happened is that the wife wants him to sell these mannequins he's friends with. And he agreed to meet with people and stays long enough to be able to go home and say he tried. But he had no social skills, so maybe they aren't really his friends. That's a read right there. Like, even these mannequins aren't your friends, you stupid guy.
Oh,
It
they're always
was
making fun of
Todd
him.
and Fabian were pressed up against the windows,
Yeah.
like, please.
Help us.
We let me walk home.
We were people with lives.
He stole our hair too.
We were twin brothers.
I used to have clothes.
Why doesn't Todd get to wear clothes?
It's fucked up, dude.
Because Fabian
probably
stole them.
I do want to see. Do we know do we have the other 4 pictures? Because now I'm so curious.
Sorry, I just realized Fabian looks like Rainbow.
We are assuming which one's
Fabian
Todd
looks
and
like
which
a
one's
pro
Fabian.
poker player.
Oh
But-
yeah, put up some sunglasses on him.
Yeah. They look like the Winklevoss twins. Not really, but
Yeah, they do look like rowers.
Let's look at some more. Let's not
Let's check his water
dwell
level.
too much on this
Anyways,
man's.
yeah, more. That was interesting and bad.
So it's maybe just real.
That's
I
the
don't
thing.
know.
I don't think he's joking. I think all of it is,
Screeching
More
away
serious than
and
we
flipping off. That's like so erratic that makes me go like,
especially to like a 25-year-old
yeah, we are.
lady.
I will say though, one final thought: putting the mannequin outside the shower, pretty funny. Good bit. Like,
well, it would be
really
funny to you, Mr. Liar.
No, I would lie and say they went there themselves.
Yeah, I didn't move him.
Can I read this one?
Yes.
I don't know why, but I
No,
want to.
please.
I think you should.
Not
don't
mine,
reckon
but
you
mine.
can.
No, you can't.
There's no way.
It'll upset the balance of time.
You can't read.
Not mine, but my mom's.
It's an exclamation point.
In high school, she had 2 different boyfriends before my dad.
Todd and Fabian.
Her junior year, she was with a guy who we'll call Scott.
Scott Calvin, Santa Claus.
She went to prom with Scott, and he was very picky, so he insisted on my mom wearing a white dress. Weird.
What?
Mm.
Don't you not wear a white dress unless it's like a wedding?
Yeah,
Your
and
wedding?
also picky is not the word for
Not
that.
the way.
It's
Controlling. Yeah.
He was very unstable, so he
Insisted.
He's very picky, so he drove. He drove away with his 2 mannequins in the truck.
he's so fussy. You know what I mean? He's so
Yeah,
particular
so
about stuff
particular.
that he flipped me off and tried to hit me with his truck.
She was reluctant over the fact that it looked like a wedding dress, but wore it anyway.
Yep, that'll do it.
Because Scott wanted it and looked good as hell, if I do say so myself.
Hell yeah, mom.
She kept her dress for quite a few years after that until 2013. In 2013, she donated the dress to a local thrift store because she didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I don't think I want to hold on to the dress that my high school ex pressured me to wear. I think I might give this away.
It's also tough because a white dress, you have so few uses for.
Yeah.
I feel like a thrift shop might be like, well, this would be inappropriate
A
to wear anyway.
a costume party where it's like, or a Halloween thing.
But
Also, I
dead
don't know
wife.
about you guys, but I'm immediately spilling mustard on that thing.
Oh,
Right, mustard.
That's what I yell when I
Yeah, when
spill
you-
it.
help me!
It's because you're in a long-term duel with a anthropomorphic bottle of mustard. He was like,
I'll catch you one day, mustard.
and then he just runs away.
I shake my fist at him.
You'll never catch me.
A circle closes around the frame. Credits.
Whoop.
Mustard.
A few years later, she finds a dress just like it on Facebook Marketplace. like exactly like it. She had to have it tailored when she bought it. And the listed dress had the same tag that hers had from the tailor.
So it was the dress.
Yeah.
Or it was, yeah.
It was listed as a wedding dress by Scott.
By Scott?
Legend, dude.
Great Scott.
Oh my God.
The
They're gonna fall in
description
love.
read something along the lines of used vintage wedding dress tailored to a size 6, worn by my ex-wife in our wedding.
Worn by lying ex-girlfriend who betrayed me.
At first I was like, oh, they're just lying. But now I'm like, how did he acquire the dress?
Right.
Like, he's
That's
like,
freaky.
I feel a disturbance. I think I need to go to Goodwill.
This has got to be like a small town.
Yeah.
Or something.
Or he tailed the lady.
Yeah, everyone
for
talks. You
many
hear
years.
about the wedding dress that got dropped off at Goodwill?
You won't believe
no,
this.
look kind of like the one your girlfriend wore at prom.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Gossip is spreading like it would in like a Wild West outpost of 40 people.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I was just down the saloon and spoke to the only people I know.
Yeah. Turns out they've got a wedding dress at the thrift shop.
the one we have.
We've got the dress. We called it the dress. It was kind of like the blue and gold one.
I suppose I can't really tell which
We couldn't
color
tell
it
what
is.
color it was. We all thought it was either white or off-white. Cream, really.
This revealed a lot of shit. Not only did Scott somehow have my mom's dress over 15 years later, but he had pictures of his ex-wife wearing the dress.
No! Sorry, I read ahead.
It was my mom's high school best friend, Julie. What's even stranger is the fact that when they got married up until now, Scott and Julie lived in Florida. Oh, and my mom found the same dress back in another thrift store a few months ago. What a small world we live in.
What a small world you live in. Yeah, I don't know what world this is.
I pray that people aren't able to track me that easily.
Do we know what state they were in that wasn't Florida?
They're in an absolute state.
It makes
mate.
it seem like it was a different state and it still showed up in the same.
They lived in Florida up until now, and that I guess
This is when it would cut to Jonathan Frakes walking in and he'd go, now was the traveling wedding dress a real story?
He's next to it, like hung up. He's like,
Yeah,
"Oh."
it's on Todd. Or did we make it up? Find out next time.
Did
See
our
ya.
writers have a little fun with this one?
Yeah, and then
Or
it's like
did this really
the
happen?
story about the wedding dress that followed a high school couple and continued to follow her until the rest of her days.
So he steps out. He's like, "Till death do you part,
Yeah,
unless you're divorced."
and then he goes, "We made it up." He goes, "Gotcha."
I stalked a woman.
Not a chance.
There should be an episode where he's just out of energy. He's like, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it.
I don't know anymore. I'm kind of over this shit, to be honest.
We couldn't find a prop. We couldn't find any props that lined up with this story about parking tickets. So I don't know. What do we got? Flowers? That's
a wooden spoon.
Yeah, he at the beginning of the episode, he does a thing where he's always asking a weird rhetorical question. How many times can you wear a wedding dress? Some say just one in a best case scenario. What you're about to watch is a story of a wedding dress being worn many times.
Am I lying? The idea is that maybe I'm lying.
But
so
maybe
keep that
not.
in mind.
Maybe it's kind of fake. You're going to have to decide that. That's kind of what we do. over
Not now.
here.
Now we're gonna. You watch it, then come up, and then at the end, I'll say it was fake. It was fake. Like ruins it.
Jordan, how about you read this one?
Oh, I can read
I know. That's why I asked.
right now.
Yeah. Yeah, this one.
Yeah. Hi, sad boys. Hello. First of all, big fan of the pod. I'm a very busy STEM college major student. Why did I put that in? Why did I put major in? I made that up.
Oh, you did.
That was never. This is like when we read ad copy. I was like, it's a great product. I'm a very busy STEM college student, currently fighting finals, unfortunately. I guess better than like fighting. Wait, is finals when you finish the whole course or it's every year?
Finals is the exam at the end of the course.
The whole. Okay, well,
and
that's good.
So you have all your
Wait,
finals.
no. Are you talking about course meaning like your major, your degree?
Yeah.
Oh, this is
No.
a class.
Oh,
an
I didn't even think
individual.
about major.
So one class has finals at the end of the semester.
I forgot you have classes. We just have course. I just did film. There wasn't like
Oh,
film.
right.
There were segments, but they just all contributed to film.
Yeah,
was, like, not-
this would be like a segment, but then it's like a little more modular, I guess, because there's a degree requirements, and it's like a skeleton of like things that are required, and then
sometimes nothing to do with your major. It's like social
that's called
studies.
gen ed.
sometimes
Right.
yeah, like some so, and then you'll need like for like the things that fill out that skeleton, you'll need like a number of credit hours usually that contribute to that thing. So sometimes it's specific classes that are required. Other times it's like general education or like a foreign language something or things of that nature. And then you can fill that in with anything that it has the right
Yeah.
classification.
It is very elegant that American college is you've created an economy. You made like a cryptocurrency inside of you. Like America obviously has to have the hyper economical, hyper like tradable resource
It's like a
control
roguelike
version.
or something.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
You guys had to have the most predatory one with the most wheeling and dealing.
Your education system is way more efficient and effective. Because
Though
I think a lot of people come out of college being like not really ready to do anything with their
Well,
degree.
Though in fairness, I don't know how it works if you like want to change things up.
And I will say there's, I mean, not that like maybe it's always even sustainable to be juggling so many things, but in a lot of cases, I mean, sure, I had modules, but they were film editing, documentary. They were
Yeah.
like, it was very limiting. And I know a lot of people that, I don't know, do like an agricultural degree, hate it, and they weren't
can't
doing anything.
change.
And not even weren't getting qualifications in anything else. They weren't doing anything. They couldn't
Yeah.
have hobbies. All their time was focused on a element of agriculture.
Right.
And then you get to the end of the course, you're like, oh, I hated this, but that's all I did.
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah, the customizability is nice, but then there's also the like, okay, well, I can take any class I want, but am I driving towards actually completing a specific degree? And then also there's just all the normal problems with college. So not a hard and fast rule, like if it works for you, cool. It's something that helped me with the way my brain functions.
Yeah, I would definitely not have made it in that system.
Yeah.
I barely made it in the easy version.
But I think for a lot of people who can afford it or have the right financial aid and stuff, it can be like an exploratory period where they like find what really sticks with them. So that's nice. That's like one of the benefits, the best case scenario. But
I mean, moving out was the thing I enjoyed about, I mean, for the most part, but momentum. Also, needed it for my visa. Turns out. But that was a surprise to
Yeah.
the end. I had no plan
Oh
on
my God.
moving countries. So.
yeah, you're like, it was all according to my plan. You've activated my trap card. I went to college.
I invented college and you paid me. Hi, sad boys. Hello. I saw on your story. Oh, sorry.
What?
One of the
And
best
what-
parts of my week is cooking dinner with my roommates while listening in.
Aw,
That's very sweet.
that's so sweet.
Didn't make us any dinner, but okay. I saw on your story that you're requesting crazy online shopping stories. That's so funny. We're recording a thing about that right now.
Yeah, that's what are the odds?
And so I thought I'd share something weird that happened 2 months ago. Ooh, 2 months ago.
Ooh.
All right.
Recent.
Fresh. I was selling these mannequins.
Let's call them Bod and Baby.
Right before classes started, I had a big septoplasty surgery. Oh, 20
Let's
windows,
go.
yes.
Just breathing with my nose, which is a
Ugh.
thing I can do.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
showing off his nose again.
Brag.
Oh no, something stuck.
Oh no, he's sucking everything
I'm doing
in.
a Dipper impression.
His
He's just
septum's
always like,
deviating.
I'm re-deviating my septum.
Dipper's so expressive with his breaths.
He is.
He's quiet.
He's
He has
quiet.
to be all like his little eyebrows that he has. He's like, anyway, apologies. Septoplasty surgery, twinning with Jarvis, and was still very much drugged up that night. Nice. While mindlessly scrolling on Facebook Marketplace. It's the usual stuff until I come across a listing for a cardboard cutout of my friend Daniel.
What?
It was from a restaurant, I think, and he was a model for some kind of Korean drink, question mark.
Ooh, maybe it was soju.
Maybe it's Daniel's soju.
Maybe it's Daniel juice.
I gotta stop
no,
drinking
your
that.
mind's in the gutter. I'm saying maybe he was squeezed
Yeah.
until he made juice.
Yeah, it's not weird.
Yeah, like maybe
I
he was
think
put
it's
into
still a
like a
little bit
juicer
weird.
of sorts and
Yeah.
kind of turned into a human paste and then later turned into a sorry.
Not whatever
Wait, it's
filthy
not
idea
weird.
you had.
Yeah, it's not weird. Come on.
Anastasia was like, "Oh, what if he made orange juice?" Yuck! No. Mind you, he does not model. And more importantly,
Well, did he in the past?
yeah, he's not modeling right now. But maybe I guess the cardboard version does. Mind you, he does not model, and more importantly, has been on a mission trip to Japan for almost a year at this point. I recognize the picture to be one. I recognize the picture to be one the roommates use as a reaction image, and I'm very confused, but so tired that I pass out without further investigation.
That's understandable.
The next morning, I'm less foggy, and I'm slowly remembering what I had stumbled across the night before. I would assume it was a dream. 1,000%, I would think.
Oh
it
yeah,
was a dream.
100%. I would write down in my notes, crazy dream.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, write down a note that doesn't help me the next day in any
My
Daniel-
way.
dream journal.
Daniel in a man like a cutout.
Daniel Juice?
Yeah, Daniel
Yuck.
Daniel Juice.
I
Which-
must
who
have been
was-
dreaming.
Daniel was
That was my
squeezed?
basketball coach in high school.
Dan Juice.
Dan Juice.
So less foggy, stumbled across the night before, and so I do my detective work, reverse image searching or reaction image, only to find that someone uploaded it to Shutterstock. We think it must have taken our literal inside joke reaction photo and turned it into a stock image, like that one BJ Novak meme.
Oh yeah, like BJ Novak did some modeling work and then it
Oh.
was like I guess it was used as some stock photo or the licensing or something. This
Oh.
was like before The Office. And so there's random products in many countries that just have a photo of
Oh,
him
hell
on it.
yeah. The one with the Simuli where he's like in an office before, like he was like a famous actor or whatever. Maybe we publicly posted it at some point because I have no idea how else they could have gotten that picture. I have no copy of the marketplace listing. What happened? But I wish I did because we think a Daniel cutout would be kind of so funny in our apartment. Well, I have great news. You know him.
Yeah, make a Daniel cutout.
You have the photo,
You have
famously.
the photo.
You have manifested this.
Mannequin fested.
You'd manifested this because of your the powers imbued to you with your surgery, and by taking such a deep breath, you were able to dimension shift, like Nelson Mandela, right? That's why it's called Mandela effect or something.
Sure.
Using his powers,
Because he shifts dimensions.
yeah, because he got radioactive powers in jail,
Right,
Whatever.
and Mannequin Fest is also the title of the episode of Fact or Fiction where the guy wakes up and he keeps seeing mannequins everywhere he goes. They keep multiplying.
It's a festival of mannequins.
There's nothing-
an infestation of sorts.
Putting down a glass after taking a sip. Nothing better than a nice glass of juice. But what if it was Daniel's juice?
We've all had a bit of Daniel's juice. As he's walking
We've all
into frame.
sipped on Daniel. What? But there's that option with powers, or Daniel is a little liar.
Oh yeah, Daniel actually did.
Daniel
Daniel's
submitted himself.
Daniel took
I
a
mean,
nice
if Daniel
photo.
doesn't model, I mean, what is this photo?
You're
'Cause,
wasting your time.
Hello,
Brother.
I don't think we're showing it though.
It's okay. Well, since we're not showing it, fully nude, penis entirely exposed.
Just complete. It's just a shapeless bulge.
yeah,
it's weird.
With
He's
the legs seem segmented
Featureless.
from
yeah,
the torso.
Yeah, it's weird.
No, it's a very handsome. I would even say
Relaxed.
Zara style
Yeah.
aesthetic.
Yeah,
Looks very Zara.
And
like a
yeah,
Zara mannequin, so to speak.
and yeah, maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe his mission trip is just giving out cardboard cutouts of himself.
It's him doing the when he paints himself silver on like a street corner.
Except he's just a good-looking man.
Yeah.
He's just stood. They would actually like that in Japan, probably. Just a handsome white man stands around. You can kind of look at
That's
him.
awesome.
You kind of like take a photo with him and
Hey, you
give
know
him a
what?
butt.
They like that in America too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's kind of my curse and my gift.
You're a handsome white man.
Yeah, when I need to be.
Okay.
When the world needs.
This
That's when
was
they need Jordan
very
White.
funny.
I mean, it's... God, I wish there was an answer to the question. Also, buy the cutout. Buy the
Oh,
cutout.
yeah, just make a cutout.
What if the price
make
was
a
like
cutout.
too high? They're like, I know what I have.
Or they
And it's
drive
like,
to a
do
parking
you?
lot.
Because it's a piece of cardboard.
It's my friend,
And
actually.
you can get these made. Like, it's not that hard.
God, what if we got it? What if we printed it out? Can you please send us a unwatermarked image
I am not putting
of this
I'm
exact
not putting
image?
Daniel's juice anywhere near me.
Send
Do you
it to us
guys-
because I'll print it out and I will put it in this house, but I won't tell Jarvis where.
Do you know that movie 3 Men and a
Outside the
Baby?
shower? Is it going to be outside the shower?
No, but of course you do.
No, I'm gonna put
3 Men and a Baby?
Yeah,
That's like
we-
your autobiography.
it. Anastasia. Yeah,
it's more like
uh,
Me and 3 Babies.
it's,
It's
fucking-
Anastasia's
wait, wait, wait.
autobiography.
It's Tom Selleck, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Wait a second. Hold on. Pause. 3 Men and a Baby, 1987. A bunch of photos of guys, and then Zac Efron,
Why
Is
did-
Zac Efron the baby?
who was not alive in
No,
1987.
there's no way he was the baby.
Is that the baby?
I don't know why
Uh-oh.
I don't know why Zac Efron's there.
God,
But-
Ted Danson is so old. He's
Yeah.
just been around
Leave him
forever.
alone, mate.
So what?
Leave him alone.
Oh, I like him. I think.
What about Tom Selleck? Do you like that he's on
Unless he
Blue
did
Bloods?
something bad. I like his mustache.
So this was a very, very popular film. I had it on VHS for some reason. I don't
Directed
know
by Leonard Nimoy? Sorry,
Yes.
I keep.
Yeah.
That's wild.
The
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's not good, but it's like
how's the baby?
so the baby's great actor.
Mm.
But at one point they're in the apartment of these 3 men. They're like 3 bachelors, but they get a baby.
At
Anyways,
that point, they're like, we're just 3 men, and that's how it's gonna stay.
Who put this baby in here?
There's a baby in the toilet.
and at one point in the movie
There's a baby outside my shower.
they're
Stop putting this baby. Either sell it or send it away.
Yeah. Or I'm divorcing the group.
they're just in their apartment, and in the back of the frame you see there's a window and you see the shadow of a boy. And when I was a kid, the rumor was that was a boy that died on the soundstage and his ghost haunted the soundstage.
Oh my God.
But was not true. It was a cardboard cutout from a different shoot
Oh.
that someone thought was fine to put behind the window.
Just to clarify, what you're saying it was not a ghost.
It wasn't
That's
a
not
ghost.
true.
That's not true.
Oh,
This is tagged. If you scroll down.
we did see the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. The tag right there. Remake of a French film. And also tagged baby left on doorstep. And tagged police.
Give me more. 53 more
53
tags.
more tags.
Baby.
The most people said that police was helpful.
That was very helpful.
Diaper change.
Oh, that sounds like a funny drug dealer.
Yep.
Abandoned baby. Not helpful.
Bachelor.
I do like that
Fish
someone
out
just
of
wrote
water.
baby.
Baby.
Like what?
3
who's,
men.
Who's going on IMDb and going, baby?
How are people going to
Film with a
find this?
baby in it.
Electronic music store. Puppet.
5-word title. It's like someone's like doing trivia. And they're like trying to find weird things about.
Oh, 3 men. Where are these?
Baby left on doorstep.
Are these the baby movies?
Baby
The
left on
left on
doorstep. We
doorstep.
should have. This is actually hold on. New game idea. We find it
Yeah.
a random tag on IMDb,
And we have to guess.
and then we have to guess the number one because Harry Potter
Oh,
and the Sorcerer's Stone being the number one is like a. Ooh, I wish I had thought of that.
Yeah.
Because
Is
that
that-
makes perfect sense.
Could
You
we
know,
do that
we
for
could
nights
do-
straight up?
What?
Could we do that
Well, we
for
got
nights?
the holiday party this week.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
we got.
That
But
did like
maybe
that.
next night.
Or I read you like the top like 5 to 10 tags of a movie and you guess what movie it is.
Well, there's also a really good improv game that we could do around this where you click on the tag and you can say, okay, movies with baby left on doorstep. And we each have to think of one. If you can't think of one, you're out.
I didn't know there was a 1993 Super
Oh,
Mario.
yes,
that
yes,
movie
yes,
is
yes.
insane.
Yeah, it's insane.
Bowser is a guy. He's a human man played by Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper, yeah.
And it's
It's
a very
crazy.
self-conscious like, well, we have to make this movie, but we don't want to look silly and be a video game because they're for babies.
John Leguizamo is Luigi Mario. Oh, their surname is Mario, which isn't real, by the way. That's not like for real.
Isn't that canon?
No, it's not.
Oh, his name.
They like made it up for
They're
this
the
movie.
Mario brothers in the film.
Oh, his name was Mario.
Oh, I could be wrong. Iwata, in 2 separate interviews from 2012, further confirmed that their last names are not Mario or video game. And then in 2015,
so well, video game.
and then in 2015, Miyamoto like like said that his full name is Mario, but then they think it's a joke because then he later said in a different interview that Link's full name was Link.
That's fun.
So
I mean, they probably joke about it because the movie did
yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of what,
That's
because
fun.
in like before the movie, they said that he didn't have a last name. So
And they were like, who cares? Like, why would we do
exactly.
that?
Like,
You're
why? Who
weird.
cares? Yeah.
Also, Sonic's like a teenager, and Miles, like Tails, is like 6.
Can we
Fucking
talk
weird.
about how Tails' name is Miles Prower? Miles Prower, because he goes so fast.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Which,
Okay.
but also
That
Sonic's,
blew my mind. Sorry.
But Sonic's name is just Sonic, and he's faster than Tails. So
Yeah.
it's in fact, Tails is as fast as everyone else. He should be called Flyer Man.
Yeah, Tails is also kind of slow in the grand scheme of things.
His thing is flying.
But Jordan, you wanted to apologize about something?
well, no, kind of.
Not to anyone here.
Oh.
I thought it would potentially be like a fun little occasional recurring thing that we can do to cleanse our souls here and there. Not for lies, but occasionally cleanse our souls here and there to apologize for genuine, like, weird little experiences we have, something awkward that goes on, the embarrassing thing or a bad sign off I said to an Uber driver as I got out or something like that. Because I very specifically this week want to apologize to all of the people who I do genuinely really care about and appreciate the affection from, reaching out over Thanksgiving, through the holiday period, through I got sick, and then through the time when I was sick, sending genuinely very nice messages and invites to things that I still have not replied to, and is like a sack of potatoes. That meme of the guy dragging the giant boulder, and you don't know what else is there, and it's like it's full of not replying to Iffy.
Yeah, I definitely
not getting back to Mike Bithell. I'm sorry, genuine. I'm very sorry, Mike, listener of the show, hung out recently. We went back to the UK, and I just saw today. I got a nice text from him weeks ago that I completely missed. I feel terrible, and I still haven't replied. It's like it's that stasis feeling, you know.
I relate to that.
We struggle with it.
Yeah, you more than me. No, just kidding.
I don't struggle with anything.
I do. Yeah, I do struggle. I mean,
I like this idea of an apology corner every episode, just being like, "Hey, so I
messed up.
I said something, I whatever, like
Yeah,
whatever
like a little highlight.
stupid little things like are
The cashier
poking
said,
at
"Enjoy
your
your
brain."
groceries," and I said, "You too."
Yeah.
Hey, would you like to come around? Watch me eat.
I also think like knowing yourself, being self-aware, awareness, I guess I should say, is half the battle. Like
Oh,
just because
The other half of the battle is fucking responding to Mike, you dumb Dumbo. No, just kidding.
No, I mean the challenge is that it is knowing is half the battle, and when that's basically none of the battle, because the battle has to end.
It's also
It's still a battle.
responding is 2/3 of the law.
Yeah. If anything, the beginning of the battle is less bad than the middle. The middle of the battle is when shit's getting really.
well, but it's
Makes it really
bad
bad.
for you. Awareness, acceptance, and then action. You become aware first, then you have to accept that this is true, and then you act on it.
that's the
Yeah.
that's the dilemma. I mean, obviously, we're speaking more broadly than just
It's
about
the Herb
replying to
dilemma.
things and doing
It's
whatever.
the-
Something
it's
of the
the
Herb
Herb.
dilemma.
Dude, I call it just a Herbie. Like a Herbie fully loaded right now, dude.
Dude, I'm
That's what I
fully
call the
loaded.
apology corner, dude. I'm a fucking
This is how slang starts.
yeah. This is how British slang starts.
Yeah.
Where
Going
it's
up the
like
apples and berries.
three layers away from what the original basis
Yeah,
was.
I'm about to nip on the Womble. Nip
Excuse me?
On the Womble? Like, well, because like nipple, you get milk from it. Womble. From an old TV show, only in the UK, when you're a kid. And then, you nip on it. It's when you drink something that you swatch where the Womble means apple juice.
Okay. That is the most British.
That's off the top.
I'm still in awe of all of that. But that is what I'm talking about.
That's just the first one.
But
for the
yeah,
world.
I do want to, all jokes aside. Nah, not all jokes aside. Just kidding. This is Sad Boys, baby. The jokes are aside. They're in front. They're in center.
knock, knock.
Knock, knock. Who's there? It's Scott Calvin, 37-year-old toy executive and creep.
Hey, how you doing? Oh, no.
But yeah, this happens to me a lot. I saw somewhere, I think it was like one of those like advice videos that I'll like weird advice for men that I'll make videos about on Gold, where it was talking about like if someone doesn't reply to your text within so and so amount of time, then they shouldn't be whatever. I'm like, based on this, Jordan and I should not be friends.
Yeah, it's
I should send him a text that says, "You're no longer adding value to my life."
oh, dude.
But no, I think that it's very fun that we even will kind of like, it's almost like going down to the mailbox, like, and you're like, oh, there's a bunch of shit in here. And then you're like trying to like respond to it all. Cause I do feel like sometimes we're like pen pals over text where it's like, oh, it's been 2 weeks since your last correspondence.
And then I'm like, oh, I sent a PS. Should I wait until that arrives with them on the front lines, or should I like
PS, yeah.
guess? Oh, my bad. How are you?
I do often get this like weird like sense or like a dread washes over me when I go to text someone like and start a new conversation. Then I realize they texted me last week and I never.
Yep,
responded.
that happens to me constantly, and it's tough because I know that I have to like meet myself where I am, you know, and
See, Jarvis is at acceptance.
I'm in acceptance.
He's meeting himself where he is.
That's what I'm apologizing of. But
It's
then
like I am striving, you know, but I'll never be perfect. I think it's very easy to cherry pick and be like, well, you don't do this thing that I do. It's so easy for me. I think when other people are talking about their problems, that's a lot of times someone wants to feel good about themselves and be like, well, I don't have that issue.
but it is easy for them.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the
That's the thing
important
that's never said.
I do the stuff that's easy for me.
And then it's also like acceptance is where it starts. Obviously, I personally like want to improve and get better at certain things, and so I try, but it's hard to. I can't get too down on myself for like not meeting
Other
every
people's-
expectation
Well,
or other
and-
people's expectation. Yeah.
And like getting down on yourself doesn't.
It doesn't help,
It
right?
doesn't fix the situation at all. It actually
Right, it
makes
creates the
worse.
cycle of like, oh, I'm disappointed in myself, and so I'm just gonna go hate myself in a corner and not respond to more texts, so that now when I go check my texts, now I
Yes.
feel even worse about myself, and then that cycle of inaction continues.
I agree with all of this, yes. And then I'd leave.
You disappear.
My job is done.
Jordan was just a vessel to teach
floats up to heaven.
us lessons along the way.
I hit the ceiling. Help me.
Ow!
Push me out the window.
I'm buoyant.
Yeah.
Help.
It's like
Oh, no,
a-
I'm going
it's like
down.
a balloon.
Not to hell, please. Oh, sorry.
On the I don't know, like the narrative of, you know, a moment of struggle or a moment of growth, right? It's like, okay, well, yes, there are parts of it that are out of my control, and then there are things that I can take agency in, but every stage has a checkpoint where I need to take action, and that action includes accepting the problem, and that action includes putting it in proportion. That action can include just expressing to someone, booking a psychiatrist appointment if that's what you need, adjusting it. It can be whatever. Following through on a behavior that you identifying the behavior in the first place. I think where I'm struggling right now, and I think we talked about it a few weeks ago, I'm curious where you're at with it, is when I have pushed the marble and it just doesn't seem to be moving. And I'm like, when I reach out to it, it's like, you already pressed it. Like, okay. Actually, you know, a closer example is, well, I ordered the food an hour ago, but the car's still there. And like, I'm sure the driver isn't doing anything wrong, but something is wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it should move, and I can't order it again from the same. So
I
like,
think the way that I would just generically respond to that is that like progress isn't linear. And so even if you're doing all the right things, it may not, it's like you're not always going to get the instant gratification. It sometimes does, you know, take time to ship. It does sometimes say out for delivery today and then later go, oh, our bad, actually, it's tomorrow.
And like
whoops.
you know, sometimes you got to approach a problem from several different angles, or like do sort of like a trial and error. Like when I first started taking SSRIs, the first medication, I was on it for like 6 months, and I realized, oh, this is not for me.
Yes,
I need
yeah,
to
yeah,
try
yeah.
a new medication. It sucks. I don't want to try it. I
Yeah.
don't want to switch medication because it's a hard
It
process.
sucks. Yeah.
But then you get on a new one, you try that one. If that doesn't work, you try the next one.
Well, I think why it's so difficult to advocate for stuff, especially medication, for people who haven't had any or haven't had any successful experiences with medication, is that you're trying to describe a sound they've never heard or a color they've
Right.
never seen.
Yeah.
You're like,
Right.
well, but then it might work. And they're like, well, how does it feel when it works? Oh, I don't. Well,
can't
really, it feels less. The
Yeah.
thing that's bad goes away. It's the absence of the
And-
thing, not a new thing.
Yeah.
And also, it's like it's really just our place to talk about our own experiences and not to advocate for any specific treatment. That's for professionals.
Oh,
But-
sure.
Which I know, like that
We're not
goes
saying
without
any names.
goes without saying, but I'll go ahead and say it. But a thing that I really relate to about what you said, and I'm gonna sit here and try to remember what that was. You were just saying.
I was saying SSRIs.
You were saying SSRIs. You were saying a color unit. That's actually something I'm going through right now, which is I had to stop taking one of my medications for a trial of something new. And it's like a fixed window of time that I have to commit to this thing. And I had to go off of my other medication that I didn't like, or I didn't like feel that strongly about.
You didn't feel that positive about the medication in the first place. The medication,
The one that I had to go off of.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'm not really losing anything. But now that I've been off of it, I'm like, oh, maybe it was doing something. And I think I just kind of took it for granted. And that is another really tough thing because it's so hard to, and this is the case whether or not it's medication or it's a habit, right? It could be the habit of going on a walk every day and you go, oh, this doesn't really do anything for me. And then you're like, oh, why am I sad all the time? And then you don't connect. It's sometimes so hard to connect what the healthy habits are that are helping you. And I think that's something I struggle with is trying to remind myself that this is not going to, I'm not going to hit a like level complete and get like a stat loadout sheet of like, oh, you get, 6 bonus energy. You know what I mean? Like, but
that's just the end of living. If that you're done. Like, if there's nothing to think about or engage with? Not that everything has to be negative, but like,
yeah.
if you there's always a focus, whether it's difficult or not. And there's always something, improving. It's very rise and grind mindset culture, but like improvement doesn't always have to be career or from a dark place or something like that. It can just be being passionate about something or engaging with something you're excited about. And it's like affirming. And I think if there was a box checked for affirmed, then life would be like pretty joyless
right.
in its own way, I suppose.
I think it's one of those things where you kind of, and this is something I'm still learning, and I could be wrong, but I do think that life is one of those things where you just have to like appreciate and enjoy the process because it is a never-ending process, and there is never a complete. Obviously, there are achievements that you can, feel like really great about in the moment, but that doesn't last. The only thing that lasts is continuing to strive and try and improve and live and just survive your day to day. And it's become so mundane that it doesn't feel like something that should be cherished or appreciated until like something changes and then you realize that you should have appreciated. Like, I don't know if you've ever had a cold and been like, God, I
do
anything for a clear nose, dude. Like right now, my nose is so stuffy. I just wasn't before this moment, I just wasn't appreciating it, but I would do anything to go back to that time. And then the day after, you're better. You're like, my I don't like my nails. You know, like, you got like a new problem.
I miss my mucus.
I
That
miss
was
my
like-
I miss Muki.
I had
My-
a very genuinely like a guilt like recently in that theme of like I felt a pang of guilt where there was something relatively small stressing me out, or like a guilt or a frustration I had over something that ultimately was basically arbitrary, and something that I think in the past I would not have been as absorbed by. And then I realized it's because my quality of life is now better than it was 2 years ago.
Right.
And then I hit a third domino of feeling, you know, sometimes, I mean, first world problems as an idea is a very unproductive way of examining people and their emotions.
Because if you live a life in relative comfort and not constant concern or pain, then your problems will, like every problem that you could possibly have, you could come up with someone that has a worse
There's
problem.
always a bigger
And
fish.
so it doesn't do anything for you to think of things on an absolute scale, because you are experiencing the same chemicals of the same brain chemicals that make you feel bad about bad things happening,
Yeah.
regardless of what the bad things are. So of course they feel like very real and severe, and it's okay to like, it never serves you to diminish your own pain.
And if you really are concerned about people that are struggling more, the best you can do is to be the best advocate and assistant you can to people in more difficult positions.
Yeah.
You'll do a better job if you yourself are more well
Yeah,
balanced.
put your
healthier,
oxygen
etc.
mask on first, right?
And take both oxygen masks so you get double the
Steal
oxygen.
the
so you can help
baby.
the kid.
Steal children's oxygen masks.
Trade the baby for an
Survive
oxygen
twice.
mask. I can make more babies.
Legends live twice.
But I did feel this like weird pang of guilt that you can when you feel that natural instinct to be like, well, what problems do I have, etc. I felt that pang of guilt for Jordan 2 years ago. I felt like I was looking back and going like, fuck, I'm miserable. So, but not like,
No, from before.
sorry, not in. The,
Yeah. He's like, hey, like Jordan from 2 years ago is like, what gives?
Hey.
And you're like, no, not like you.
And he would be like, no, I'm glad you're doing better.
Hey, man, no, that's what we wanted.
I do feel like a lot of
It makes me, Jordan from 2 years ago, feel better
thank goodness
that your problems are not as bad as they are right now.
Thank God. That's like,
Yeah.
as opposed to if I was in the future and I'm like, hey, things are way worse. But
Oh,
don't even
man,
worry
live in
about
the
it.
moment because it's not going to last.
God, that's the most depressing thing I ever hear when when someone complains about like high school or something. I'm like, hey, best years of your life. Like, oh, Jesus.
That's crazy.
I hope not.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I hate it now.
Woof.
Things are like real bad.
Damn, become a teacher? You can be in school still.
Yeah, herb.
Oh, man. Dude, yeah, go teach volleyball. Well, I was going to ask, I feel like we've known each other a long time. I love you, Anastasia. You're the best. But I don't like
You.
I don't like you. Yeah, you're like a racist uncle. I love you unconditionally. We've spent very little time together outside of the context of I guess we call it work. You know what I mean? Like either predominantly hanging out here or as a group with other people here, or even prior to that, like in San Francisco, I would go to like an improv show and then see you there.
Yeah.
It was very kind of peripheral, I guess, in a way. And I
We
guess
never hang out one-on-one.
like I didn't know.
You never answer my text.
Well, I'm busy. I'm busy looking at Jarvis's text.
I'm busy beating myself up for not responding to you.
Yeah. I'm busy typing I'm sorry and then thinking, God, I hope they didn't see the bubble. And because now if I don't say something. But it sticks out to me. I didn't know, like, not that I assumed you wouldn't, but that you took any kind of medication or that like, and I kind of wanted to throw that to you because I think a lot of the time the audience will like, whenever, especially when we talk about medication or treatment of, practical treatment, I think is like a comforting idea when the world feels like insurmountably big and overwhelming. But a lot of the time the audience will comment just like, oh yeah, I heard you guys talk about it and then asked like a practitioner, blah, 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 went into it, explored it. What was the catalyst for you looking into it? Was it the podcast?
No, I think I do have to say you two and a few other friends of mine, like I feel like generally my friends are very they've normalized medication for me.
Mm-hmm.
Cuz there was a time in my life when I was younger, and not even like that long ago, I guess, when I did think negatively about antidepressants or brain
yeah.
medication as like, well, I would never want to numb out like that or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I just like didn't know what I was talking about. It was just
Right.
like,
You have no perspective, right? Like
well,
you
and I
wouldn't
think pop
know.
culture has been kind of generally negative about that stuff.
Oh,
you know?
definitely.
Yeah, and it's just like the existing vestiges of like negative about mental health things,
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly.
It's
It's like why is the therapist from the Santa Claus such an asshole?
Yeah, exactly.
like when you go to like, oh, you have a vitamin, you need more vitamin D, and it's like, well, I'll just go in the sun more.
Yeah.
And like, okay, first of all,
That's unsustainable amount of time in the sun. You are very short on vitamin D,
Yeah.
but also no amount of sun will do that for you. It literally, you will always be short unless you can live a great life with a vitamin D deficiency.
Yeah.
But why do that for? It's almost like a religious
Yeah.
blocker. Where like I can't
Yeah.
say that word.
Well,
can't
and
take
I
those.
have even, heard people who are generally, pretty positive about drugs. Not drugs,
Oh, yeah,
but
brother.
no,
Oh, okay.
about like brain medication. I'm just saying brain medication because it not necessarily antidepressants, but
Drugs with your metal.
yeah, have said that their doctors even will say comments like, well, you don't want to be on this the rest of your life, do you? Or something like that. And it's like, well, yeah, I do if I need it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess no, if I don't need them.
Yeah.
If you do a special surgery that fixes the thing.
So I think you'll even encounter mental health professionals. I do want to say that I know this is not possible for everyone because of our horrible healthcare system in America and just how
Yeesh, tell me about it.
expensive everything can be. But I do highly recommend that if you are going to take these kinds of medications, that you do see a psychiatrist because your
Yeah,
general
yeah.
practitioner only knows so much. And
Right.
a psychiatrist, that is their whole job, is to know about these
They're like
medications.
an auto journal.
Yeah,
They're like
exactly.
often like I'll have a session go in and then he'll reference something from I don't know 5 years ago or something.
Yeah.
As a contributor.
Or literally like, he's like, you've said that exact sentence in that exact order before. And I'm like, he's not even like looking at a journal or anything. He just remembers it. And I'm like,
Well, and
right.
like I was changing medications and talking to my psychiatrist, and I was like, oh, by the way, I started taking this other medication for something physical. And and my psychiatrist, she was like, oh, that mixes well, but hey, in the future, before you start taking medication, let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
like just send me an email.
Our bodies are so fragile. It's like the issue could be that you were eating grapefruit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it like it doesn't play well with like the drugs you're taking. I also want to say that like again, like if like you don't want to take any medication or that's not your vibe, that's also like I don't know that that's going to be my vibe forever. It's like I just want to feel better.
Yeah, and
You know?
sometimes life changes.
Yes.
Sometimes your body chemistry changes, which I think a lot of our listeners are younger, but as you grow older, your hormones change. And that changes your brain chemistry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
And so it's just like everybody's different. That's like I just never want to make it sound, and we aren't, but make it sound like it's like broadcasting a truth.
I suppose the thing we would always want to emphasize, I'm not speaking for everyone, I would, but I think we're on the same page. We would want to emphasize, let's just say medication in this case, to look at medication the same way that you would at a psychiatrist, that you would at a therapist, that you would at exercise, that you would at meditation, that you would at watching a nice movie.
It's like there's no panacea, there's no silver bullet. It's like
there's
everything,
no easy fix.
There's no easy fix. Everything is working in concert,
Yeah.
and that's why like like sometimes lifestyle changes will affect your need for certain things
Exactly.
because it's like a impossible to predict like machine that has so many different inputs.
Yeah, if you went to the doctor and then it was just like, I feel actually fantastic. I started only eating crumbs that have fallen on the floor, and I drink only hot soda.
Yeah,
And then they look at your vitals and they're like, "You're the healthy. I guess keep doing it."
I started doing horse electrolytes, and now I'm feeling incredible.
No.
And they scan through your blood test, and you're like, "You're the most healthy person I've ever seen ever."
Yeah.
I guess keep that up. Then.
Wow, Ethel Oldie Pants, you're 9,000 years old. How did you do it? And she's like, well, I smoked a pack a day and I drank a Dr. Pepper.
I hate that shit. Anytime it's like a Vice documentary and it's, like a shot of a 15-year-old white guy walking through a city I've never heard of, just being like,
We're here to meet the oldest man in the entirety of this bit of the world.
Now I can't touch him as he'll turn to dust.
Like, how'd you make it to this age? And they translate it.
I eat beets and I kill a rabbit every day. And it's like, wait, what?
and then like Psychiatry Today posts like, turns out this is how to live longer. You should do
literally,
it.
it'll be like a Kotaku article. And it's like, why are you even posting about this? Study says cookies are good to make you alive.
To answer your question though about like what turned me on to taking these medications.
Oh, phew.
Let me finish a sentence. I was going to a sleep doctor because I couldn't sleep. I was having really bad insomnia.
You doing like
And
the study?
I was doing a sleep study. I tried everything. I just like could not sleep.
Right.
And part of the problem when I sleep is that I clench my jaw so hard that I actually ended up chipping a tooth at one point. And I wake up with jaw and ear pain. And it's not just my jaw, it's my whole body. I call it sleeping hard, where I'm curled up so tight into a ball.
You're in defense mode.
And sometimes my
can't stop
nails,
it.
like my nails will go into my palm.
Oh my goodness.
And
You
not
sleep like a
hard.
whippet.
Yeah.
You're like a roly-poly.
And my doctor was like, we've tried everything. You're fine. You don't have sleep apnea. I think it's anxiety. And that's when I was like, okay, maybe it's time. Maybe my anxiety is so bad that it's time I go on meds. And sure enough, slept like a baby.
It's almost like a good case study for, hey, doc, mention this at the start. Just in, not even the medical element, just say maybe it's anxiety.
Yeah.
And then while we do the thing with the EKG, I'll like, I don't know, go on GCal.
Yeah.
I'll make an appointment to check that out.
There's a great scene in the Santa Claus
You
where
cannot quit the Santa Claus.
he
You love
goes
it.
to the doctor.
He reloads the gun.
He reloads a shotgun. He says, "Buckshot, doc." He goes to the doctor after gaining like 60 pounds in a day and also a beard, and in a day. And the doctor, it's very funny because American healthcare is so shitty that I don't even know that they meant this to play the way that it does. But the doctor, where clearly something is wrong, because like, all things aside, this should be physically impossible to happen because he's Santa Claus.
It's a magic disease.
It's a magic disease. He like shaves off his beard and it grows back instantly or whatever. The doctor's like, well, are you stressed? And it's like, well, sometimes your hormones, and it's like, doc, I am growing a red suit.
Hey, Santa die near you took boys' clothes?
And he's just being so useless. And that's why it's also good to find like a second opinion too, or
And
a
to
third.
Do not pick up a corpse's clothes. Do not loot Santa.
Don't
ever.
loot Santa. Don't loot Santa.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Why does he put the clothes on?
Huh?
Well, he was in
There's
his
a card
undies.
in the pocket that tells him to.
Fuck off. I won't.
It does, but that's also entrapment because the card says "put me on," and then it's like, "Ha ha, we got you with the Santa Claus.
Wait, it's in his pocket.
Now you'll be Santa forever."
In Tim Allen's pocket or in the Santa suit?
In the
pocket?
Santa suit pocket.
Okay,
Well, two things that sort to mind. He's walking around with like an organ donor card. He just has a card at all times saying, "If I die, do this." And also, was Tim Allen trying to get his wallet? Why was he going through his pants?
Figure out who he is.
Also, his child, Tim Allen's child, Scott Calvin's child, Charlie, he says that he wants to go into the family business when he gets older. That's what I thought. I was like, what? So you're gonna be like, hey, Dad, want to help me with these, with the roof over here?
Whoa, shit, wait. I guess the alternative is that he has to watch his son age and die because he's like an immortal demon essentially now.
Yeah.
It is like a disease,
because
right?
Santa's like simultaneously immortal, but also like can't take a fall.
Yeah, that's
Like he's
true.
like got Humpty Dumpty disease.
I guess he's ageless.
It's like he's never been on a roof before. Come
Also,
on,
he
dude.
falls into a fucking pile of snow, which
Yeah.
catches him.
He falls like 20 feet into a pile of snow. Oh, by the way, please, how was this? Never happened before. No one's. Ooh, do they say in the movie whether he is that guy was the first ever Santa, or was
Or is
he
he like the 47th?
I
Santa?
do-
the last curse
This is,
bearer?
I think this is discussed, but I was playing Super Auto Pets also
Sure.
while watching, so I think I may have missed it.
Can I give a little ad for Nightz?
Oh yes,
Okay.
You can do it to camera.
I can't.
No, but do it at camera. Like
Can
they
you
can't
just
see you.
move your mouth as if you're saying these words?
yeah,
Yeah.
like a puppet,
Yeah.
like you're a mannequin.
Let me
Look at
try-
your camera.
Let me look like Anastasia.
You're right.
God, that's kind of accurate.
Put a
Anastasia's
diaper on.
is the upset teen is like the angsty teenager of the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so over on Nightz, we're going to. Sorry, I can't look at you guys. We're gonna be having a little holiday fun. We're gonna have our annual office holiday party where we might have some little surprises, maybe a quiz or two. And just come join us over there. It'll be fun.
We're a regular
you-
Todd and Fabian
Can you
over
cut
here.
between us? I don't know. If you
Yeah.
can, that'll be
And
funny.
I tell you what, if we ever have to cancel a recording, you just use those
Yeah.
and put some old
Yeah.
audio over it. What if I just started doing that whenever you spoke? So
That would be so distracting.
so
I would
demoralizing.
Die
actually.
laughing.
It
Or
was
just,
really hard to keep a straight face because I was afraid you could see me, and then it was making me
I
laugh.
was really not.
It was
looking
making
at
me
you.
laugh thinking about you seeing me doing all of your like mannerisms. Okay, yeah. So we're heading over on Nightz. We're gonna have our holiday party. You can check out Nightz on patreon.com/sadboys, where using only your discretionary entertainment spending, you can pay the low price of $5 a month to get access to like, Sad Boys action. I'm usually lying down a little bit, and that'll happen in this one, I think.
Festively.
Because sometimes sitting on a couch gets tiring.
You know what? Ever tried it?
Ever tried it for a long time?
You ever criticize us, say, oh, that must be really hard? Yeah.
Yeah.
Monday night quarterback behavior, okay?
Yeah.
All right. You don't know what it's like here in the crucible.
Here in the octagon, as we call it. Yeah.
The couch is full of nails.
Yeah. It's full of Namekian warrior Nail from
Yes.
Dragon Ball Z.
It's full of his corpse because he's dead.
We
fused with
he
him.
fused with Piccolo.
Jacob, right?
You guys remember when that happened. Anyway, we
It
end every
unleashed his
episode.
potential.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, as always. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Anastasia.
Not as always.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Fabian.
Thanks for coming, guys. Seriously.
Thanks for coming.
Good luck with the case.
Yeah, you guys are always just serving. And Todd put some clothes on, and we end every episode of Sad Boys with a particular phrase.
We love you.
And we're sorry. Boom. Hello, and happy holidays.
Simply.
Welcome to the non-denominational Sad Boys LLC Christmas party.
All three of us are wearing scarves. Jacob, you didn't get a scarf.
I only had 3. I'm so
Why
sorry.
do you get a
Jacob.
scarf? You're not even on camera.
I don't know. It's my scarf.
Jacob's always on camera, so
Okay, so I'm kind of driving the ship a little bit today. Is that correct?
And you're
you
so
are
drunk.
conducting the
I'll
train.
co-pilot.
And Jacob is co-piloting.
Without a scarf, please.
Poor Jacob.
Gucci girl, how you doing? How you moving, girl? Moving, girl. How's your day looking? That future girl, yeah, we on now. Take my money, go away, all you want it.
Get you rich from me.